tell me, Renee, why do you believe that personal style is such a key part of an entrepreneur's brand?
Yes, I always say it is, our style is a part of our career and business toolkit or success kit, right? Because you have to remember that our style is the first thing that people see. It's a communication tool, right? So before we even get a chance to open our mouth and dazzle them with our wits, they see us, right? And
Yeah,
then people, we know from data, the studies, it tells us that people make decisions about us in seconds, right? So
yeah,
my position is, let's control the narrative. Let's give them the language that we want them to talk about us. Because if we leave it up to them to create their story, then it may not be the story that we want to tell. But our style really is a very, very powerful communication tool. And so that's why, and it's, I also see it as a packaging of our personal brand, right? Our personal brand is, what we're known for, what we want to share with the world, what people say about us. And so our style really is the packaging of that. It's the first thing people see. So it is really an important piece of the entire picture.
I love that you called it packaging of the personal brand. Like a lot of the listeners in this to our podcast are entrepreneurs and marketers, and in marketing, packaging is just such a key piece, right?
Exactly. It's a part of it, right? Packaging, price, position, all of it. Packaging is the piece. When you're on a shelf, if you're a commodity, you're on a shelf, then people look at the packaging, and companies invest tons of money in their packaging, right? As a marketer, you
Yeah.
know that. So you are the product that you're selling when you're talking about your personal brand, if you're an entrepreneur. So you're selling you. So packaging is a piece of it. But I think so many times we don't think about that, right? We just say, well, if I do a good job, if I do great work, that's enough. Sure, that's great, but so many people do great work, right? What's your differentiator? How do you stand out, right? And I see this as a piece that really helps us do that.
Yeah, and we're lucky to be in a time where there's people to help us do that too, right, Renee? I mean, there's the resources, whether it's access to resources like yourself, or it's things that you can, you read on the internet and you DIY stuff. We're certainly in a time and place, I think, where this is being recognized. It's not seen as something like frivolous and
Yes.
sort of secondary to the main
Well,
story.
and that's a good point that you mentioned, because sometimes, and I still hear sometimes where people still, even though it's not as much as before, but people may think, well, it's not as important, right? How your style is frivolous, it's just superficial. When really it is so much more, right? Our style communicates both a message to ourselves in terms of, I want to feel good. The energy shift when you feel good, when you feel confident, what you make yourself available for because you're feeling so confident. I hear from clients all the time that when they're feeling good and they're wearing their power outfit or something that they really love and fits them well and they feel great in, they put themselves in positions that maybe they wouldn't have before. They put their hand up for more. They'll ask a tougher question. They'll close a bigger deal. So those things are important. And then in addition to that, it's also the message that you're sending to your audience and the world and how you're introducing yourself.
Yeah, so that is so true that what it does for yourself is such a key piece, right? Regardless of how prepared, like I do speaking gigs, I teach a couple of times a week, and I know that regardless of how prepared you are in other areas, unless you're feeling on top of the look or the fit, and it's not even just clothes for me. It's like I like to wear this particular bracelet and I like to have this particular bag, and I need to have the boots that look a certain way. And so I think
Yeah.
there's a lot there.
It's a piece of it. It's a piece of your energy, right? It's a piece of how you show up. And and for sure it changes our energy. And our energy is such an important piece of it, right? People feed off that. When you're magnetic, when you're outgoing, when there's sometimes you just there's a something about this person, there's a something you can't put your finger on it. I think a lot of times it's their energy, right? It's how they enter a room. It's the feeling you get just being around them, and your clothing is a big part of that. And data tells us, right, when we're feeling down and depressed, many times we reach for big baggy oversized sweats, hoodies that are in dark colors, gray, black, because we kind of want to hide. So, and when we're feeling good, we wear colors, happy colors, yellow, orange, red, whatever those colors are. And, there's all this whole color psychology. But color changes our mood, color changes how we feel, right? So it really is more than just dragging on clothes.